You're talking about a coach that got into a fist fight with one of his coaches on his staff.
You're passing this off like it's true. You need to stop saying that he definitely got into a fist fight with one of his coaches.
Well, there are three. Now I've looked this up, Jeff. There are 3 articles saying that it's true. So there has to be some kind of truth to it. There's got to be some kind of truth to it.
And there's other people like Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport who are very reputable saying that it isn't true.
Well, you know what the press does here in New York. Okay, so...
Well, that's why I don't put any credence into local reporters saying that it happened.
And I'm not going to put in any report saying that it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, Rappaport and Schefter say it didn't happen.
Well, that's fine. That's good for them. As far as I know, it did happen. And until it's said that it didn't, and I don't think
maybe the fight is like Tom Brady's hand to you.
Well, could you shut up with that? I mean, there are some stupid things that you've said in the past. Do you want me to bring them up?
I mean, sure, let's hear them.
Do you really want me to go into it? How about Gleyber Torres? I would have traded Manny Machado for Gleyber Torres. Yeah, that's a great move. It's really smart. I remember that.
The way they don't win, so the Yankees still stink.
Yeah,
that's
well,
neutral.
You're going to trade arguably one of the best second basemen, one of the best offensive players in the league for a guy that can't win the big game and is on and off every single year. Great move. Great move.
Oh, can't win the big game? That seems like Gleyber Torres.
That has nothing to do with one player. Matter of fact, Gleyber Torres has one of the best batting average in the major leagues in the last 10 years in the playoffs. He's batting .340 in the playoffs. Who's been better than that? David Ortiz? That's it. Go look. Statistics don't lie, buddy. So don't tell me about Gleyber Torres. You wanted to trade him for Manny Machado, who's batting .280 or .270 in the playoffs. You're gonna trade a guy.
It's a whole lot closer than
what? Tom Brady?
A cut that didn't exist.
Oh no, the cut did exist. I said that he I claimed that it was fake.
That it didn't exist.
Yeah, I claimed that it was fake. You know, because that's something that's the Patriot-esque.
Very real.
That's Patriot-esque. That's Patriot-esque. So, you know, whatever. It was real. I was wrong. I took it back when I said I was wrong. What, are you going to attack me for it forever?
I mean, but I was saying you're passing this fight off with Joe Judge like it happened, and it's very much in dispute. Listen, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I'm not going to assume that it did because there's, conflicting reports right now. I'm not going to go out on that limb and say, oh, well, the head coach is getting into fights with everybody.
No,
you don't know that to be true yet.
No, we don't. And that's why I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm 110% right. But I'm also not saying I'm 110% wrong either. I think there is some kind of truth to it. Now, I don't know what truth it is, and I don't know if we'll ever find out. And if we do, it'll probably be when he gets fired or he retires as a Giants head coach, Joe Judge, and he writes a book. And it'll come out and say, "Oh,
I don't know that he's going to get fired right away." I think Joe Judge has done a good job this year.
I would agree with you. In a bad division, with a team that's trying to rebuild, a defense that really has taken a step forward, I think this is one of the best defenses in football the last 4 weeks. I've said this already. I mean, statistics will show you they're a top 5 defense.
I think their defense is much improved over last year.
Big time improved. You're talking about a defense that was one of the worst defenses in the league last year that has moved up in the top 15. And I think, and again, I'm going to say it, in the last 4 games, they're one of the top 5 defenses in football. They've been. They're much better than Seattle, that's for sure.
That's not saying much.
Jamal Adams, I love what Bart Scott said. And I hate Bart Scott's show. And I'm not taking a shot at Alan Hahn or Bart Scott. I'm not. But I don't know if they're listening to the show, and I don't care if they are or they aren't. The fact is,
I mean, Seattle. The problem with Seattle is they're desperate. Like, they are so desperate to find some sort of a pass rush. Like Jadeveon Clowney leaving that team has really.
I said that was going to hurt them. Did I not say that, Speedy? That was going to hurt them. I also said bringing in Jamal Adams is a cancer, and you see him fighting with Pete Carroll on the sidelines already. You're seeing him scream at Pete Carroll already, and he hasn't even gotten his contract. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, he is another Odell Beckham. It was a great move by Joe Douglas getting rid of that cancer. He is a cancer. And by the way, if you look at their numbers with him in the lineup and him out of the lineup, their numbers as a secondary is better without him.
They still are both bad, though.
It doesn't matter. They're better without him by at least 7 points. That's saying a lot about how great Jamal Adams is. All right? Jamal Adams, and I'll say this again, and I'll say it over, and if I ever had Jamal Adams on the show, and I've told this to Eric Coleman on with Weekend Crunch, he is highly overrated. Eric Coleman was a safety in the league, a strong safety for the Jets. Is he better than Jamal Adams? No, he wasn't better, more talented than Jamal Adams. But I'll tell you this right now, Jamal Adams, the way he's going, Eric Coleman will have a longer career than Jamal Adams will in the NFL.
Ooh,
okay?
wow.
Because I think Eric Coleman, the one thing Eric Coleman did not do was open his mouth. Okay? Jamal Adams, all he does is open his mouth. Did you hear what he said? How could a Jet fan be happy for what he said the other day? He was interviewed, and he said that he used to come home from games and hide himself and lock himself in a room, and his father would knock on his door. What are you, a kid? What are you? You're hiding yourself under your pillow because you lost a football game? And his father actually reached out to his agent and told his agent, we need to get him out of this horror. And he pushed himself out of New York, okay? Like I predicted, like all the Jet fans thinking, well, he didn't push himself out. Anybody that has read and seen what he has said when he was just interviewed could piss you off as a Jet fan. Would push you off as a Jet fan. And it did. It pisses me off even more. I don't want him on my team. Because you want to know something? For a guy that's been pushing himself out of New York for honest to God, since he's come here, why would I want him there? Joe Douglas got a slew of draft picks for him. And you want to know something? They're going to live off those draft picks, while Jamal Adams is going to be asking for $90 million. He's going to cost Seattle an opportunity in their future because Russell Wilson won't be there forever. And I'm going to laugh at that trade because Jamal Adams will not be a Seattle Seahawk in the next 5 years.
Longer career, Eric Coleman. So Eric Coleman played 9 years. Jamal Adams is in his third year.
Yep.
Oh,
Eric Coleman will have a longer career. He had a longer career than Jamal Adams will as a safety in the NFL.
The only reason why that
There's
might
a
be
lot of pent-up anger at Tim.
No, it's not. It's not anger. It's just me being me on my radio show.
the only reason where I don't know if I necessarily would see that is just because the players are having more leeway now. If Jamal Adams did this when Eric Coleman played, I would agree with you. But they have a lot more leeway now, where I think they're going to get bumped around.
Nobody's going to give him. Look at his numbers. Look at the numbers when he's in the lineup. Do you really think Seattle in the offseason is going to pay him $90 million knowing how bad their secondary is? Please answer the question.
Maybe, because of the secondary is bad anyway.
So you're going to pay a secondary player $90 million, which is going to hold on a salary cap spot for you where you can bring in 2 or 3 players at that same position or draft a guy that's a little bit cheaper and giving up obviously they're going to have to pay him because they gave up 2 first-round draft picks.
Yeah.
But it's going to cost them. It's going to cost them.
Also, Seattle's also one of those teams where they try to get a lot from the scrap heap, too. They draft well late.
That doesn't sell why you traded 2 first-round draft picks for Jamal.
Oh, I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that I think because of that, they're going to commit to Jamal Adams.
Good, and that'll be the biggest mistake the Seattle Seahawks made.
Maybe it will, but I'm just saying.
Maybe it will. It will. 110%. 110%. Just like you Giant fans, 90% of you Giant fans wanted Odell Beckham out. I could say the same about the New York Football Jets.
But again, they also, if they were a lot of other organizations, you're probably right. But the Seahawks have been like this for a while, where they draft weird in the first round as it is, and even in the second round, they trade back all the time. I don't know if it'll necessarily be a swaying point in terms of Jamal Adams is going to make the defense that much worse or that much better in comparison to if he was not on the field or not. Because if Jamal Adams leaves that team, I mean, your best player is Shaquille Griffin, who had a great year last year, fine, but he hasn't been good this year with or without Jamal Adams, and he's not really a number 1 corner. So as much as you want to develop him well, it's not really that good of a player, that good of an option. I would trust the process with what they're doing right now.
Jeff, have anything to say on that?
No, you're talking about the Jets. Who really cares? Dude?
It's not about the Jets.
Talking about the Seahawks.
We're talking about the Seahawks. This has nothing to do with the Jets. You're not getting it. You keep thinking that it always is about the Jets. It's not. Matter of fact, even with us being in New York, I don't really talk about the Jets because I know how bad they are. You're the one that always says, oh, there you go, sticking up for the Jets. I don't stick up for the Jets. I tell it how it is. And I've always told it how it is.
I literally tuned you out when you were talking about Joe Douglas going to turn this team around. Dude, who cares?
Well, maybe to you. Maybe to you. So let's go into your Patriots. Were you surprised that they beat the Ravens?
Shocked. Absolutely shocked.
Why?
Because the Patriots stink this year. I want them to lose. please God, lose more games.
Well, I think the Patriots are still in the hunt for the playoffs. And a lot of people think I'm crazy.
Unfortunately, they kind of are.
They are. And they have 4 wins now. And if Miami loses this week and Buffalo loses this week, Buffalo, what is
Buffalo's
7?
on a bye.
So they're 7-2.
7-3 right now.
7-3.
Miami's 6-3.
6-3. If Miami loses this week, and Buffalo obviously is not playing this week, you're gaining a game on both of them. And that gives you 5 wins. If Miami loses again, they have to play Miami again. Mm-hmm. So they have I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's not going to matter, right? The Patriots aren't going to make the playoffs. They're just hurting themselves because the Dolphins are still going to finish ahead of them in the East. The Bills will still finish ahead of them in the East. And I'm sure, the Raiders or Colts or Texans or something will finish ahead of them too.
Not the
right?
Texans. The Texans.
I think you meant the Titans.
No, the Texans are up there too. Aren't the Texans?
No, they're 2-7.
Well,
the Texans stink.
They're
right.
2-7 this year.
Oh, I'm sorry. In the South, it was the Colts and the Titans.
Yes.
That's who I was thinking. Sorry. There's going to be other teams that are going to finish ahead of them. The Raiders, the Browns.
Not necessarily.
Colts.
If you look at the Patriots' schedule, and it's not easy. They actually have the hardest schedule going. There are games that are winnable for them, and if the Patriots just bite down and play the way they did against Baltimore, I think the Patriots could win 5 or 6 of the last games.
Yeah, but they're not going to play that way though, right? Because they don't listen.
Edelman's coming back, right? Edelman's coming back. They also have what's his name again, Neil?
He didn't practice today. He didn't practice.
No,
today,
he didn't practice. I'm not. He's not out for the season, Jeff. You're going to have Edelman back. You're going to have N'Keal Harry back. You're going to have weapons coming back. You have Harris. He's working on all cylinders.
Yeah.
He's a special player. You can absolutely win 6 out of your last 7 games. You can, and I think the Patriots.
No, there's no chance. There's
all
no
right.
chance.
I beg to differ.
Listen, the Patriots do not have a quarterback. There's been 3 quarterbacks that have played this year, from Brian Hoyer to Jarrett Stidham and Cam Newton, and the best pass thrown all year was by Jacoby Myers this week.
Again, I understand what you're saying, and I know you want to go taking shots at Cam Newton. Cam Newton's been a great leader.
I wasn't taking a shot at Cam Newton. I was taking a shot at every quarterback the Patriots have.
Cam Newton. And I think Cam Newton has been a good leader for the Patriots. When you look at some of the players and really some of the losses that they had early in the season, they have more injuries.
He's been the reason why they've lost.
I don't blame Cam Newton for that. And he'd be the reason why they won against the Baltimore Ravens. Yes or no?
No, definitely not. He didn't have a good night.
He made the plays at the end of the game that help him win the game. Come on, Jeff.
No,
just because his numbers.
Damian Harris led the charge, right?
Yes.
Jacoby Myers is throwing touchdown passes over him, and the defense.
Oh,
could
great.
you
stop? Could you stop? You're out of your mind.
You're the one texting going, "Oh my God, there's Damian Harris kids running."
Oh, he's fantastic. I said that, but it's not just him. Cam Newton played decent. He didn't play bad.
But Cam Newton has been horrible all year. You go back to the Denver game that they lost. Cam Newton was terrible. You go back to the Bills game they lost. Why did they lose? Well, Cam Newton dropped the ball running in the open field and fumbled and gave it away. You go back to the Seattle game. Why did they lose? Because Cam Newton fell down.
Yeah, but that was a high-scoring game, though.
Terrible.
Cam Newton, his completion percentage this year has been over 68%, which is great.
Cam Newton's been terrible.
But his completion percentage is over 68%. How many players in the league have a completion percentage at 68? Please, tell me.
Right, hold on.
Who?
Hold on. But all of his passes have been like under 5 yards.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. How many players, how many quarterbacks in the league is throwing a completion percentage at 68?
I mean, you clearly haven't been watching any.
I'm trying to, because Cam Newton is throwing almost to 1,000 yards. He's almost 2,000 yards, 3 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Absolutely. His passing.
He's almost to 1,000 yards passing. That happened in like Patrick Mahomes.
No, 2,000. 2,000. Not 1,000. 2,000. 2,000. And he's ran. I think he's run at least 4 or 5 touchdowns. So even though he's thrown 7 interceptions and he's thrown 3 touchdowns, he's run 5 touchdowns or 6 touchdowns already. So again, Cam Newton doesn't have a lot to work with. He has no Edelman. He has no N'Keal Harry. He has no weapons. But it's Cam Newton's fault.
But hold on.
They still have 4 wins.
But hold on. Are the Patriots receivers, which admittedly are not very good?
No, they're terrible.
Is it the Patriots receivers' fault that Cam Newton fumbled the ball in the open field?
Hold on one second.
Is that what we're?
The Patriots offense, the Patriots wide receivers are just as bad as the Jets. Actually, they're probably worse.